So, I am reminded of Neil Young, Old Man. Old man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you. What a great tune. Totally. By a guy that, when it comes to his political leanings and, well, what he has to say, well, it's disappointing. But as I always say, never look to musicians or singers for wisdom. They're there to entertain. If you can relate to the time, the people, your experiences in life, that's fine. But never look to them for wisdom. Ever. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is, well, I used to drink malts. Well, quite a few malts. A lot. And in recent years, and when I say recent years, probably over the last 14, 15 plus, I learned through a great mate of mine called Al that, you know what, there's two great things in life. Well, there's many others, that's for sure. But two great things in life are a fine malt and a great coffee. Now, I know the Irish do this thing called Irish coffee. To me, it's a cop-out. It's, well, it's not what it should be. Because, and to me, it's a missed opportunity for many restaurants, fine eateries, pubs, hotels. And the reason I see this is for the following. If you were ever to experiment with a really great malt, it's all the flavors on the tongue, all the rest of it, the cleansing of the palate. And then, as you put down that fine malt, you pick up a fine coffee, and you can taste everything. The fat and the milk, if you have that in your coffee. What's gone into it sweetness-wise? For me, I found that coconut sugar was pretty nice, actually. So the combination of a very fine coffee, coconut sugar, you should try this, by the way. And for me, well, I have a distrust of what goes for cow's milk in the UK, so I go for goat's milk. It is actually, if you're going to go down that line, it's not too bad. I haven't had it for a long while, because I stopped taking coffees quite a long while ago. Well, not that long ago, but I would still do it occasionally with a great friend, for example, which goes back to the hospitality industry. They really are missing a trick. Because, as I said, the flavors of a fine malt and then the sensation and flavors of a fine coffee is quite a great experience. And while you do that, you're usually more prone to, well, I find, the appreciation of artists like Neil Young. I'll repeat, disappointment in his regards, what comes out his gob outside of music. But you could say what I'm saying is something the occultists would relate to as well. Yeah, I get where you're going with that, Scott. I absolutely get where you're going with that. So, in summary, don't do instant coffee. If you're sensible, have a really great coffee, but not as much as I used to do it, like 4 or 5 a day. For the last, well, at least year or so, I have stopped having coffees because, well, you know, the caffeine and so many other things, and you know, it detracts sometimes when you're doing vids with that usual, you know. But I'm finding a common ground of, well, you know, I can relate to it, but I don't need to participate in it as much as I used to. So, in summary, for any hoteliers, anybody in the hospitality industry, or just people saying, hey, Scott, what's your thoughts on the following? If you're going to do any of them, coffee, a great coffee, or a great malt, do both. But don't be dependent on either. Because when it comes to spirits, they will take away your spirit. When it comes to coffee, well, caffeine, so many other things, it quite literally strips your bone structure of so many things. Yeah? So, look at it as a treat. And honestly, the difference between shite and really good is also the difference between short-term living and longevity. Would that make some sense? So, I will leave you a link to Neil Young's Old Man. I will link it. I will probably play it. And I'll speak to you soon.